One of the interesting things is, is where you kind of got the interest of learning how to code. So maybe I'll start with Rob on, was coding something that ran in your family, or is that something you kind of just self decided to learn, or did you maybe learn that from your dad?
It's a good leading question, TJ. So I talk all the time about how I'm a second generation software developer. My dad was a developer for NASA from the time he was 19 as an academic part-time, or what we would call an intern at JPL up in Pasadena to the time he retired at 50 years in. And so, sorry, 49 years in. He's very specific about the fact that he was only there for 49 years. So I knew a lot about what being a software developer was like growing up, which was a huge advantage, right? Like one of the things that I know is that I knew what I wanted to do really young, and so that was a big head start for me fundamentally. That doesn't mean that other people can't come to that later and still get where they want to go. I think that that's absolutely true, but I get that that's sort of a different. We come to things at different times, right? So at the end of the day, I think it says in my bio that I started pair programming when I was 2, because I would sneak out from nap time and hang out with my dad until mom caught us. And then I get in trouble and have to go back to nap time. But like I had a lot of opportunity and like that was available for me. Now I will say when I went to school, there was like no programming in like junior high or high school. That was not a thing at all, which is something that's much more available these days. So, I definitely felt like I had a big leg up there.
Yeah, I do. I will admit, I always enjoy hearing that story. So it's always cool to hear. I know Guerrero and Matt. I know you guys come from more career kind of transition backgrounds. Where was it where you guys kind of got your interest in coding? Was it like was it your friend? I think Matt, you mentioned it was your wife. Maybe you want to get started.
So when I was in Paris, when I was living in Paris, I think I was like around 11. I got my first computer and there was some basics class that I took. And it was basically trying to create Arkanoid. So I don't know if you guys know what Arkanoid was. It's basically a brick, like blasting bricks with just a slider and a ball. So we were trying that and it was fun. Got me kind of slightly hooked. And by 2000, I created my first pro website for the Paris French swimming committee. And that was in tables. So that was fun. So basically since 2000, I've been kind of on and off with programming. But yeah, my dad was a soccer player, musician, and my mom was a swim coach. So
Yeah, didn't necessarily run in the family, but was there a kind of a moment where it kind of pushed you to do it maybe professionally and beyond just kind of as a small hobby?
I mean that was when we were trying to change careers, and it was just I've been doing this for a while, like as a hobby. How about I just do it? And that's when it clicked, and yeah.
Very cool. And Guerrero, would you mind just kind of touching a little bit on, kind of what sparked your interest in coding? How did you get started?
As far as like for coding, I don't know. Like I've always liked working with computers. I'm actually into music production as well. Like I like produce music, so like I like all that technical stuff. Like I don't know, I just enjoy it. But I think the first time I learned about coding, because I'd never heard about it before or anything like that. Um, was like one of those ITT Tech commercials, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds all right," but I don't know if I want to do that, And then, yeah, just like those ads you see, I saw one a few years ago about web development, and it got me super interested. Then I looked into it, but I couldn't. It just wasn't the time for me, just because I had responsibilities and whatnot. I had a full-time job, So that was definitely something that set me back a few years, just trying to figure out, okay, when is a good time? How should I do this? You know, saving up the money and all that stuff. Um, but then again, I just had the baby. When I realized I was having the baby, it's sort of weird because it's like, yeah, it was stress. This was a stressful time, but I would do it again just because it was kind of one of those like blessings. I don't want to say blessing in disguise, but like, you know, with all that stress, like at the end of it all, like I was able to quit my job and actually change careers. And if I didn't have the baby, I don't know when I would, or even if I would have been able to do that, just because I was uh, holding back on it for so long. But again, as far as what got me into coding, I would say just seeing it online. I don't know, no one in my family does anything in software engineering or anything like that. Um, I've been trying to get my brothers and sisters to get into it, no luck so far. But yeah, just online.